Rhine's journey is not a tale of shining heroism. It is the story of a girl born different, carrying within her a power that is both a curse and a blessing. A truth that isolates her from the world even as it ties her fate to it. She is a vestige, one of the rare few who hold the ancient magic of a forgotten age. But to Rhine, that word has never meant greatness. It has always meant danger, fear, and guilt. From the very moment her powers first manifested, they scarred the person she loved most, her younger brother, Kor, leaving him marked forever and leaving her with a wound in her heart that refuses to close. That single moment shaped everything she became, because it taught her that the greatest threat to the people she loves might not be the enemies in the wild or the darkness in the land, but herself. And so she buried her magic. She forced it down. She carried it like a weight strapped to her soul, living each day not with pride but with shame. Her life defined not by what she can do, but by what she must not do. Kor, however, never let that wound define him. He is her opposite in every way. The boy who looks at the world with eyes unclouded by fear, who sees light where she sees shadow, who laughs where she hesitates. He is curious to the point of recklessness, hopeful to the point of stubbornness. A boy who seems to believe the world is something to be questioned, tested, played with. And more than anything, he is drawn to fire, not just as a tool or a danger, but almost as a companion. He toys with it, admires it, embraces it, as if the flames answer something inside him. To Rhine, that fire is terrifying because it reminds her of her own uncontrolled power. It reminds her of how quickly something beautiful can turn into something destructive. Yet to Kor, fire is freedom, fire is energy, fire is the life that pushes him forward. He is the spark of their journey, but also the spark that could ignite disaster. And that question hangs over every moment they share. Will his fire guide their way, or will it consume them all in the end? That uncertainty is never far from Rhine's mind, and it never leaves ours either as we watch them grow. Into this bond between siblings enters Abram, a man from another world, not because of magic, but because of knowledge. He is a scholar, a wanderer of ruins, a seeker of history, a man who has spent his life searching for answers left behind by civilizations long buried in the ice and stone. His presence is both comfort and unease. He is wise, measured, calm, often the voice of reason when Rhine's temper or Kor's enthusiasm push them toward danger. He is the one who saved Rhine's life once, pulling her back from the edge of death, and that act alone ties him to her story like fate itself. But Abram is not just a savior. He is a riddle wrapped in patience. There is always the question of why he stays, what he seeks, and whether his guiding hand is leading them toward safety or toward his own goals. Is he a friend who shares their burdens or a collector of secrets, using them to unlock doors they were never meant to open? That quiet mystery surrounds him like a cloak, making him both ally and enigma. A character who feels real because we can never be sure if his truths are whole or partial. The three of them journey across a world that feels alive in its danger and its beauty. Nordic landscapes stretch endlessly before them, harsh yet breathtaking. Ice fields shimmering like mirrors of the sky, volcanic ridges bleeding with molten fire, caves whispering with the voices of the past. These are not just backgrounds, they are reflections of the characters themselves. The frozen wastes echo Rhine's loneliness, the firelit cliffs mirror Kor's restless energy, and the ruins resonate with Abram's search for meaning. Every step they take across this land feels like a step through memory and myth, as though the earth itself remembers what has been lost and speaks in echoes that only they can hear. The world is not kind, but it is not hollow either. It breathes with them, it resists them, it tempts them, and in its beauty, there is always danger lurking, reminding us that survival is never guaranteed, not in this place, not for them. What makes their story powerful is not perfection, but imperfection. Rhine is not a flawless warrior. She is a woman afraid of herself. Kor is not a destined hero. He is a boy eager to prove he matters. Abram is not a pure mentor. He is a man caught between knowledge and obsession. They stumble, they doubt, they fight with each other. They make choices that feel wrong even as they try to do right. Their conversations swing between tenderness and irritation, sometimes cutting deep into the heart, sometimes echoing with the familiarity of tales we have heard before. And in that familiarity, there is nostalgia, the feeling of hearing old myths retold with new voices, the comfort of recognizing patterns in a world that still manages to surprise. But with that nostalgia comes controversy, because nothing here is simple and every character carries the weight of a question mark. Can Rhine truly save anyone if she cannot even trust herself? Or is she destined to unleash the very destruction she fears? Can Kor's innocence survive the realities of war and death? Or will his fire burn him before it ever lights the way? And can Abram's wisdom be trusted when his hunger for ancient truths might be stronger than his loyalty to the living? These doubts turn the story into something more than adventure. They make it mystery, they make it suspense, they make it a reflection of the questions we all carry about power, trust, and sacrifice. As their journey unfolds, we feel excitement in the puzzles and the battles, in the tightness of the leaps across ravines, in the thrill of combat where magic bends the laws of time and space. But even when swords clash and spells shatter the ground, it is not just spectacle, it is character. It is Rhine's fear turning to courage, Kor's joy turning to determination, Abram's knowledge turning into risk. The fights test not only their strength, but their identities, reminding us again and again that to fight is not just to survive, but to discover who you are when you are pushed to the limit. And sometimes that discovery is glorious, and sometimes it is bitter. Even the flaws of the world, the rough edges of its design, serve the story. The unforgiving jumps that demand precision, the combat that punishes hesitation, the enemies that never seem to miss. These are not just mechanics, they are extensions of the themes. The world is harsh, it does not bend for you, it does not grant you mercy for being close enough. You either make the leap or you fall. You either block the strike or you bleed. And in that unforgiving demand, there is a realism that amplifies the story's tension, because it teaches us the same lesson the characters are learning. The world does not care about your fear, you must face it anyway. And yet, for all the struggle, there is beauty. There are quiet moments when the landscape opens and the sun breaks through the clouds, when Kor's laughter softens Rhine's stern heart, and Abram shares a piece of forgotten lore that makes the ruins feel alive then. There are echoes of joy, echoes of hope, echoes that remind us why the fight matters. And it is in these echoes that the game earns its title, because every moment feels like it is reverberating with something older, something deeper, something that will outlast them. That is why Echoes of the End is unforgettable, not because it gives us perfect heroes, but because it gives us flawed souls. Not because it answers every mystery, but because it leaves us with questions. Not because it avoids controversy, but because it embraces it, letting us wonder if power can be trusted, if hope can survive, if love can protect or destroy. Rhine, Kor, and Abram are not characters we watch. They are companions we travel with. And when their voices fade into the Nordic winds, when their footsteps disappear into the snow and ash, we still hear them, we still feel them, we still carry their echoes inside us. And that is the true magic of their story. It is not perfection. It is the beauty of imperfection, the fire of doubt, the strength of broken bonds, the haunting sound of echoes that refuse to die. Echoes of the End does not just tell us a tale, it whispers it, it carves it into the frost and the stone, it burns it into memory, and it leaves us wondering long after the last page is turned, long after the last battle is fought, whether we ever truly knew them, and whether we truly know ourselves.